What up, guys and gals? In this video we're going to cover the last map of the map series we got going, well, for now, Hourglass. Now this map is all over the reveal trailer and especially the gameplay trailer, and it's very clear that DICE put a lot of TLC into this map since we see it advertised so much. I mean, honestly, I think this is probably their favorite map if you ask me. This is the last map in the series, but I will be covering all the maps that come out after launch, all the DLC maps, as well as weapons and specialists. So, without further delay, let's get into it. As always, when we do these videos, let's cover what DICE says about the map and then dive into the background of the map so we can get a better idea of what to expect with this map and what kind of layout we can expect. We'll go over anything that has come out on the Twitter about the map as well from devs or other sources. So let's start with the DICE description. Hourglass, Doha, Qatar. Fight in a city lost to the desertification. Around it, massive dust and sandstorms are constantly rolling in, blotting out the natural light as you battle for control of a convoy trapped in the shifting sands. As we can see there, desert, stadium, lots of skyscrapers, big ass map. Alright, now let's move on to the backstory of this map. Hourglass takes place in Doha, Qatar, and Doha is the capital of Qatar, actually. Doha is located on the coast of the Persian Gulf in the east of the country, north of Al Wakra and south of Al Khor. I'm gonna butcher most of these names. I'm so sorry. I'm just really sorry about it. It is Qatar's fastest growing city, with over 80% of the nation's population living in Doha or its surrounding suburbs. There's close to like 1 million people last I checked. And it is the political and economic center of the country. Doha was founded in the 1820s as an offshoot of Al-Bida, but it was officially declared as the country's capital in 1971 when Qatar gained independence from being a British protectorate. As the commercial capital of Qatar and one of the emergent financial centers in the Middle East, Doha is considered a beta-level global city by the Globalization and World Cities Research Network. Doha accommodates Education City, an area devoted to research and education, and Hamad Medical City, an administrative area of medical care. It also includes Doha Sports City, or Aspire Zone, an international sports destination that includes Khalif International Stadium, a stadium for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, which is why we see the stadium in this map as well as the Hamad Aquatic Center and the Aspire Dome. Now, the first time we get to see this map is obviously during the reveal trailer, and it's about halfway through the trailer, and it's the bit with the little bird versus the Apaches, flying through the skyscrapers. So I've seen several different sources on the interwebs say that this footage is on Hourglass map at night, and some have said that it's from a heavy sandstorm that's blocking out the sun. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's at night, because if it was during a sandstorm, then we wouldn't be able to see everything like we do. There'd be sand blowing around everywhere and all that kinds of stuff that comes with it, you know what I mean? And on that, I think this also means that these maps might have night variants to them as well, because we have some official screenshots of the Hourglass map, and some are during the day, and then some are during the night, and some of the footage we have is during the day, and some is during the night as well. So either they have different variants, or they start during the day and become night maps. Anyways, continuing with this footage, we see the little bird bobbing and weaving the Apaches bullshit, and then it finally takes them out using their own stupidity against them, and then it cuts to some soldiers fighting on this rooftop. The little bird pulls up, and then some mad lad with a four-wheeler decides to pull some Jeep stuff shit and drives the C4 packed ATV into the little bird, and it's 99 motherfucker for that little bird. Fast forward a few weeks, and we have the gameplay reveal where we get our first look at the BF2042 in action, and you guessed it, it's on Hourglass. We see the soldier sitting on the edge of the Nightbird with their SMG, and the first thing we get to see is a look at that FIFA stadium that we mentioned earlier, and we see that some of this map is desert, most of this map is city. Then we see an aerial battle between two helicopters from the Apache's perspective. Then it cuts to the third-person view of the Apache, and then it goes down to a sniping soldier's perspective as the Apache gets shit on. So next we see the specialist McKay using his grapple and going from this rooftop to this construction crane where we see another soldier killing another soldier, and then McKay looks out at the incoming sandstorm. Over where he's looking, we see the Condor helicopter flying by the sandstorm, and over the stadium, then it cuts to McKay's perspective again, But this time he's running through the desert outside the city, and he's called in a tank. We can see it coming down with the parachutes opening up, dropping it down. Then we get to see some actual vehicle gameplay with the tanks going at it, and we can see just how these environmental elements are going to affect the map also. Again, we see all kinds of vehicle warfare and just pure craziness going on. Then it cuts to Delta's perspective, Delta Specialist, not Flag, their perspective, and they're making their way from building to building, going in and out of vehicles and fighting, but this sandstorm is making it really difficult, and the massive sand tornado forms by Delta, and we get to see what these tornadoes will do to the players' HUDs if they get too close to it. And we can see how it affects the map itself with all the debris flying around and the decreased visibility and stuff. Next, we see Delta get into an elevator with 2 other specialists, and we get a look at the new Plus system coming to BF2042, and this system is actually going to allow us to mod out our weapons on the fly, so we can change different attachments, and it will actually change the UI element as well. It then cuts to the specialist on the rooftop, and that tornado is right there going by, and so is a little bird that doesn't know it's about to get shit on, but it is. A 4-wheeler packed with that good Jeep stuff gets drove into the little bird, and again, nighty night little bird. Then we see Specialist Sundance and some other soldiers all hook up to some zip lines and zip their way from one rooftop to another, where they clear out some enemies, gain control, go all fucking kung fu and all that shit, you know. But then a hind-looking chopper pulls up and fucks their day up. So they decide they're gonna jump off the roof, and boom, Sundance, pops some wings from a wingsuit and flies away. She's the only specialist that we know of that has a wingsuit, but DICE has said that there will be other specialists that may have it as well. We'll just have to wait and see when they come out. It then cuts to Falk's perspective, and we see that HUD getting wrecked by the storm's interference. And then we go back to McKay again, and he's parachuting down to the ground right next to that tornado. We see some soldiers in a vehicle trying to drive away from the storm. Looks like they're getting away pretty good. And then it goes to Delta's perspective again, and we see that Condor transport chopper getting pulled in by the storm and some soldiers that get caught in it. Then it ends with a helicopter getting thrown into another one by that tornado. So a lot going on with this map, but it definitely gives us a lot of info about the game and some of the mechanics behind the storms and the sandstorm and the tornado, and how game-changing some of the new systems and specialists can be. Okay, now we have some quick little bits of info that we managed to get from Battlefield Bulletin's page, and as always, the link to their page will be in the description, so go over to the Twitter and give them some love with a follow. But first up, we have a few more details on Hourglass via Daniel Berlin. Stadium has multiple capture objectives in it, and it's a lot of CQC focused battles. Outside, there's sand dunes for vehicle combat, which we got to see that during the gameplay trailer as well. Head south, and there's a village, a fully destructible village for vehicle and infantry combat. And if you head east, there's the neon lit city. Lots of verticality. We can see that most of the skyscrapers are super tall. We already know that we're going to be able to bob and weave aircraft in and out of them. Tanks will be able to fight on the street. Infantry can fight on the rooftops, and there will be zip lines from rooftop to rooftop as well. Next up, we have the map size. According to the DICE devs, Hourglass is about 3 times the size of Battlefield 5's Hamada map, which was the biggest map in that game. If we actually look at this right here, we can see that comparison right there. We also know the sector count for Hourglass, which is weird because some of the smaller maps have more sectors in them. Hourglass only has 5, A through E, but they must be spread out pretty well, considering this map's, I think, the second biggest map that this game will have at launch, and it's got, I think, the second fewest sectors to it. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Next up, we have a little bit more information about the skyscrapers. So after the sandstorm passes through, the skyscrapers will actually light up if it is, in fact, during the nighttime. And last but not least, we have a little bit about the sandstorm. So the Hourglass sandstorm will also be unpredictable, just like Kaleidoscope's tornado. It can take different paths, or stay on the same path, or show up or not show up. It's the same thing with that massive sand tornado we saw in the gameplay trailer as well. So everything will be unpredictable. It'll take whatever path the game decides it's going to take when we start the match, if it's going to take a path at all. May not even show up. May be able to play matches without any of these weather events happening. So we'll see how that goes when the game launches. But that's going to do it for this one, guys and gals. I hope y'all have enjoyed this series, and like I said, I will be adding to it as we start getting DLC maps after launch. We'll fire up another series on the channel here soon, as well as some gameplay from BF5 and maybe some BF4 gameplay. So stick around the channel if you're interested in any of that. As always, let me know what map you're most excited for, or just your general thoughts on the maps, down in the comments below. And hit the like button if the video has earned it, or a dislike if it hasn't. Have an awesome day, and sub to show some love. I will see y'all soon.